Hello, everybody, and welcome to our show today. So today we're going to be diving in. We're going to be talking about vendors who can help you build business credit. So I can tell you this is the most requested question that we receive here at Credit Suite and that I receive personally is, what vendors do you use to build initial business credit? Today we're going to be talking about a few of my personal favorite vendors, how vendors work, what you need to know, and then also walking through some specific vendors that will help you build your initial business credit profile and score. So first, let me introduce myself. Let me turn my volume a little bit here. My name is Ty Crandall. I'm actually CEO here at Credit Suite. And at Credit Suite, this is what we help do. We help people build business credit, their EIN. It's not linked to their personal social. Just in the last few years, we've helped well over 10,000 people build business credit. So we have a lot of experience in what I'm actually going to go over with you today. Now, if any time you want to get more information about business credit building, you want to get a free guide that maps out the exact steps to build business credit, well, you can check out this link at the bottom of my slides, creditsuite.com/EIN, and that will get you a free guide on building business credit. So, of course, when we're talking about building business credit, a lot of people still don't know exactly what we're talking about. We're ultimately talking about credit that's tied to your business or your company's EIN number or your tax ID number, not your personal social security number. So therefore, this business credit we're building here during the actual webinar today helps you basically get credit to buy goods and services that the business ultimately needs. And it also inquires for business credit that don't go on your personal credit report. So we're talking about you being able to get credit for your business that's not linked to your social, credit you can use to buy things your business needs, and credit that you can get without inquiries on your personal credit reports. Now, your business and personal credit reports are independent and can diverge dramatically. Okay, that's something you need to know, is that your scores are different from each other, from your business and personally. So what we want to do here is we want to make it where the things that you're buying using credit for your business builds your business scores, and that leaves your personal credit alone, because you're going to need that credit and those credit scores for a lot of things, sometimes business loans and other things in the personal world, like mortgages and auto loans and consumer credit cards, those type of things. So your business has to be legitimate to lenders and vendors before we even start here. And this is where a lot of people make mistakes, is a lot of people come in and get denied at Uline, they get denied at Quill, they get denied at these vendors that we'll talk about. And the reason they get denied is because they've skipped the credibility step that these credit issuers are looking at. So you've got to have a professional website before you take this step. You need a professional email address. You don't want to use Gmail or Yahoo or those type of email addresses. Your business phone number and fax numbers, you need to have both. Now, somebody called in our office yesterday and said, do I really need a fax number? And the answer is no, you don't really need any of these things. But if you don't have them, then you're going to notice that a lot of sources will deny you. So if you want to get the maximum amount of approvals, you need to get all these things. Nowadays, you can go to Ring Central and get a phone number and fax number that is the exact same number. So you'd rather have that than not. So look at it like this. Every big business in this country has a fax number, period. Even though we don't really use fax a lot nowadays, every big business has one. So again, the whole idea here is that when you're filling out your application with these credit issuers, with these vendors, and progressing to other kind of revolving business credit loans, everything on the application needs to reflect that you're a large, credible business. Because again, they don't really know a lot of those things, especially, in the early stages of your business. So you control the perception that lender and credit issuers have. So this is why you want to have a phone number. You want to have a toll-free number. You want to have a fax number. You need to make sure your phone number is listed with 411 as well. And again, you should get a toll-free number beyond just an actual business phone number. Now, you'll need to get a business bank account devoted to your business. This assures that you're not commingling your consumer and business funds. This really isn't necessary for the vendors we're going to talk about today. They won't verify that you have a bank account, but you're going to want to get this done, because I'll tell you what's going to happen is when you start to get loans and credit lines, a lot of times they determine how long your business has been open based on the age of your bank account. So it's something you want to get done early. You need any licenses that you need in your county, your state, your industry. And again, all of this has to be in your exact correct name of the business with the same business address and phone number. So a lot of people ask, should I get my business set up with the Secretary of State, or should I get my physical address first? When we help people build business credit, we always help them get their address before they set up their actual entity. And the reason for that is because, again, once you actually set up the name of the Secretary of State, if you get your address after that, you're going to have to go to your Secretary of State and and change it. And sometimes they even charge you to do that. So again, you need to make sure that your business name, your business address, your EIN is the same on your bank statements and all your utility statements as it is with Google, Yahoo, Bing. You're the same as with your licenses, the same as what's on your application. It all needs to be exactly the same. Now, one of the first steps you're going to take is going to be go to the IRS website and get your EIN number. Yes, you do need an EIN to build business credit. And no, a lot of the vendors we're going to talk about today won't request it. They won't ask for it. A lot of people think that's weird. They say, did I do it right? Because they never asked for my EIN. Understand that to pull your business credit reports or to report credit on your business's behalf, your EIN is not needed for either. Meaning that if I'm set up with Experian to report your business's payments to Experian, I don't even need to give them your EIN. All I need to do is give them your business name and address. Okay, it's the same thing with being able to pull business credit reports. I don't need your EIN to pull your report. All I need is your name and address. So even though you do need an EIN to build business credit, they don't need an EIN on an application to obtain credit. So a lot of vendors you're going to see won't request this, even though it is required to build business credit. You also need to set up an entity. And you could do this directly with your Secretary of State or hire a company like LegalZoom. Preferably, you want to choose an LLC or a corporation because those, you and the business are separate. Otherwise, a corporate or a partnership or a sole proprietorship, you are the business, which can really make it difficult to separate liability. So you want to make sure that you choose an LLC or corporation or change to that to help, again, minimize your risk and liability because you and the business are completely separate from each other. So business credit's not automatic. By this, I mean that you're not going to get business credit just because you have an EIN. A lot of people get an EIN and then they try to go to their bank to get a credit card and they don't know why they're not able to get approved. Well, a credit profile doesn't automatically come populated to your EIN the same as it ever came populated under your social. You've got to build business credit to actually be able to get a foundation that makes it where you can start qualifying for other kind of credits. So you need to know business credit doesn't just exist just because you have an EIN. You've got to build the EIN credit first. Now, it can be done easily and quickly, much more quickly than you build consumer credit scores, as I'm going to show you today. And the reason for this is because consumer credit scores have to do with utilization, how long you've had credit, inquiries, your credit mix, etc. So, for example, your consumer FICO score gives you a higher score if you have the right mix of credit, which is 3 or more credit cards, 1 or 2 mortgages, 1 or 2 auto loans. Well, when you start building consumer credit initially, you can't qualify for an auto loan. You can't qualify for a mortgage. So you'll never maximize that percentage of your score. This is why it takes so many years of well-disciplined borrowing to get 800 plus consumer credit scores. But in the business credit world, it's very easy to get good scores because they're primarily based on how you pay. You pay your bills as agreed, you get good scores. So all we need to do is get some of these vendors I'm going to show you today, get them reported on your business credit reports, you pay the bills, and that's what will give you good scores. So vendors are a big part of this process because they're the ones that will initially give you credit when stores and fleet sources and auto vehicle lenders won't give you initial credit. So they'll give you credit when these other sources won't. Then you pay the bills on time or early. That's what gets you a good score. And using the trade lines you've established, the trade lines are reporting of an account to the reporting agency. Using the trade lines you've established in the good score, that's what makes it possible for you to come in and start getting all different kinds of actual credit. Let me go ahead and sign out of my little Skype here so it doesn't pull up all kinds of messages. Okay, so if you skip ahead, you'll be turned down repeatedly. And this is what oftentimes happens is a lot of people get anxious when it comes to building business credit. To be honest with you, the vendor step that we're going to cover today is a step that pretty much nobody wants to go through. Everybody wants to go to Amazon and Walmart and Visa and American Express and immediately start getting credit cards. But that's just not the way that it works. It's not the way that it works with consumer credit either. You can't go into Bank of America, Chase, or Staples to get your first credit card. On the consumer side, you're usually starting with a small secured credit card or a place like Capital One or Providian that'll give you unsecured but with small limits of $200 to $500. So you've got to do the same thing in the business credit world. You have to start with vendor credit account. If you skip steps, then you're just going to get turned down. Now, you won't start at the top with business credit. You're not starting with Amex and auto financing. You're starting at the bottom with vendor credit. And again, we know the steps you could take, and by taking the steps, this is really the key to building business credit, is to build it in the correct order. If you don't do this, this is exactly why you'll get denied. So start with heading to D&B's website to get your free DUNS number. And you can now go to creditsuite.com/DUNS without the dashes, just creditsuite.com/DUNS, and that'll give you a short link, right, to get your free DUNS. Now, this is how D&B gets your company into the system, and they won't give you a Paydex score until you have your DUNS. So a lot of people make this mistake. A lot of people come and say, hey, I got vendors and they didn't report. Well, yeah, they did. You just don't have your DUNS number, and you'll never get a D&B credit profile populated until you do. So you got to get that DUNS number. Remember, no DUNS number, they'll never give you a Paydex score. Basically, business credit scores and a profile will never be issued by Dun & Bradstreet until you have this DUNS number. So once you're in the D&B system, then you want to search Equifax and Experian site to see if they have anything about you. Now, you could do that at creditsuite.com/reports. Here's why you want to do this. Equifax and Experian will populate a credit report for you even if you have no items reporting on your credit reports. So if you're new in business, who cares? You could skip this step. You still need your DUNS. You don't need to search. They don't have a report populated because they don't even know you exist. You're brand new. But if you've been open 6 months, a year, 2 years, you want to do a free search just to see if Equifax or Experian have any information reporting on your business now. Now, if you don't have any records with them, then you want to move on to the next step of the process. If you do have records with them, well, you probably want to pull your business credit reports with them directly. And if you have any derogatory items or negative information you think may be inaccurate, you want to dispute with them. So you start building business credit on top of a good profile and score, not a bad one. Now, you're going to start building business credit with what's called trade credit. These are also called trade lines. So you'll hear me refer to these as a lot of things. Payment experiences is the official term of a reporting of an account to the business credit reporting agencies. I also call them trade lines. I spent my life in financial services, and this is what we refer to them in the consumer and in the commercial side. But in business credit building, we really call it trade credit. And these are basically vendors that will issue you credit on terms like net 30. Some are net 10, some are net 15, some are net 30, some are net 60. What does that mean? Net 30 means you have 30 days to pay the bill. It's not a revolving account. So a revolving account, if you put $1,000 on a vendor, then a revolving account, you may have to pay a $25 minimum payment until you pay the balance off. Well, with net 30 terms, if you use $1,000 with the vendor, you have 30 days to pay the $1,000 off. So you need to be aware of that. You don't want to rack up super large charges thinking you have time to pay these off. Whatever the terms you're given, you need to make sure you pay off within those terms. Second thing to know, when you're issued credit using the steps I'm going to show you today, they will not tell you how long your terms are. They won't tell you what your limit is. They won't tell you if it's net 15, net 30, net 10. You'll have to contact them. It's not like a credit card where you get a card in the mail and they say, here's your limit, here's what you need to know. With vendor credit that I'm going to show you today, there's no celebration when you get approved. They don't even tell you get approved. They just ship your items. They won't tell you the terms. You're going to need to call to get those so you know how much time you have to pay. But again, since your payments are based on payment history, it doesn't really matter if it's a net 10 or a net 30 or a net 60. The minute they ship those items and you have the ability to pay the bill, you need to do so. That's the key to having a really good score. So it's for the things you buy all the time, like coffee, shipping, boxes. You know, vendors offer a lot of the kind of stuff that you're going to need to use anyways in your business. So not just any old vendor credit will do, okay? You want vendors who will approve you with little effort. You also want them to be reporting to one or more of the big reporting agencies. And this is a mistake that a lot of people make. So somebody asked me on YouTube the other day, hey, I have credit with all these vendors. Do any of them report? The answer was no, none of them actually report. And a lot of people are surprised by this. We talk to a lot of people that have been in business for 5 or 10 years. They're getting denied business loans because of business credit quality. They don't understand why. They're like, look, I've been in business 10 years. I do have credit with all kinds of vendors. The problem is that statistically over 97% of vendors don't report. I once had a call with one of the reporting agencies, I think it was Equifax, and they said of like 200 and something thousand people, vendors they have that exist, that they know of, less than 10,000 report. So it's a very, very, very small percentage. Over 97% of these guys don't report. So you've got to find vendors that do report to one or 2 or 3 of the reporting agencies. The more they report to, the more reporting agencies they report to, the faster you're going to be able to build business credit. You're going to want 5 of these accounts to move on to any kind of store credit cards. Now, again, it's a minimum of 5. You'll often hear me say in training that you need 5 vendor accounts to move on to store credit. But that doesn't mean you're going to walk into Dell and get approved. So somebody on one of our Facebook groups the other day said, I have 5 accounts. I went to Dell and I'm getting denied. Well, that's because Dell requires 10 accounts. 5 accounts is when the stores or retailers will start to get you approvals, but it doesn't mean just because you have 5, all of them will. Okay, they all have different requirements. Some require 5, some require 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. But with 5, you can start to move on to get store credit cards, which is revolving credit. That's the starting of revolving credit. Now, you may also need to apply more than once for some of these vendors we're going to talk about today, meaning that if you especially skipped anything to do with the credibility step, then you'll oftentimes get denied the first time you apply for credit with these guys, and you maybe have to place 2 or 3 orders to actually get approved. But again, if you followed all the credibility steps, then you'll typically get approved without 2 or 3 orders. If not, you maybe need to place 2 or 3 orders. So it could cost you hundreds and hundreds of dollars to not follow the credibility step, maybe even thousands when it comes to other approvals down the road. And you may need to buy some things you don't necessarily need to prove you're responsible and will pay on time. Look, that's the way it is. Some of the vendors we're going to talk about today sell stuff you might not necessarily need or want. Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter. You're not getting with these guys to get things you necessarily need or want. You're doing this because it gives you the reporting of trade lines, which helps you get the credit that you do really want to get. So it depends on how wise you are to use this credit. We have clients that use this credit to really fund their business in the beginning stages. We have other clients or other people that do it and kind of whine a little bit about not being able to find all the stuff they want at these vendors. The point of these vendors isn't to give you the ability to go do shopping sprees. It's to give you the ability to get initial accounts reported on your business credit reports. Never lose sight of the goal. The goal here is to get credit that reports the reporting agencies, not to get credit in the early stage to buy a bunch of stuff that you need. It's to get the initial reporting so you can get more credit to buy the stuff that you need. So again, even if you can't find stuff you need, you can donate the stuff to charity, write it off. But that's kind of ridiculous because we're going to talk about these sources that have so many things that you could easily want and need that you should easily be able to find stuff. So my number 1 and favorite source is Quill, because they sell literally over $1 million in products, from office supplies, packaging supplies, cleaning supplies. You can go to quill.com to get approved with them. They report to DMB. You've got to place an initial order first, unless you have a DMB score established or all your credibility points are made. So you're going to go to DMB, or you're going to go to Quill, you're going to put items in your cart, you're going to go to checkout. Upon checkout, and the third step of the checkout process, in the billing step, they give you an option of invoice me or giving them a credit card. Choose the invoice me and then process the order. Okay, what happens is once you do this, then one of 2 things is going to happen. They're either going to send you an email shortly after that your item was shipped, or they're going to contact you by email or phone and tell you they couldn't approve you for credit. And they couldn't approve you for credit, still buy and ship the items that you got. Go back and place your second or third order. That typically means you're not established with DMB or you haven't set up your business credibility. So usually they'll put you on a 90-day prepayment schedule in the beginning, meaning the very first order you place with them, they may not actually report for 90 days. The subsequent orders, order 2, 3, 4, 5 to hundreds and thousands of orders, they will report monthly. But in the very first time you report to Quill, they may not report the item for 90 days. So again, if you're not seeing the account report, that's why it can take them up to 90 days for them to actual report. So you need to keep in mind that it could take them this long. Now, you can order things monthly for 3 months. You can order them once. It doesn't matter how many orders you put with each vendor, but you need to at least place 1 order and pay the bill for it to actually report. Now, another vendor here is Uline. Now, Uline, you can visit uline.com. They sell shipping, packaging, industrial supplies. They report to DMB. You've got to have your DUNS number before Uline will even approve you. You don't need it for Quill. You do need it for DUNS. This is pretty reflective of building business credit. You don't need your DUNS number for a lot of sources. Other sources require you have it. You don't need a business address for a lot of sources. some other sources request that you require you have it. They won't approve you with the home address. So it's interesting because helping people build business credit, a lot of people think they got past the system because they come in, they get a Quill with no DUNS. They go, hey man, I didn't even need DUNS. I got a Quill. Congratulations. But that's not going to get you very far. Without the DUNS, you'll start running into barriers. And that's the same thing with everything I teach. You can get approved for plenty of sources using a home address. Excuse me. Oh, I've got a frog in my throat today. But there's a lot of other sources like Walmart who will never approve you without a home address. So by setting up your business credibly, by getting your DUNS, you make sure you can get approved for the maximum amount of sources. So you do need your DUNS for Uline. They're also going to ask you for 2 references, including a bank reference. And a reference is just basically another company they can call that maybe has issued you credit, that they can verify your actual pay history, or could verify that you're a good paying, that you have good payment history. First few orders might need, and again, this is where the bank account comes in too, because some of these initial vendors need bank references. They need a reference from somebody you have a bank account with. They're not asking for your bank statements. They don't need your bank account information, but they're going to ask for a bank reference. They want to be able to call somebody to know you have a business bank account set up. Because think of it like this. They're giving you credit when you have none. They don't have a lot of information to go off of to see if you're credible. So if you have references for other people you're paying, that reflects that you're in business. If you have a business bank account set up, that reflects you're in business. So these references from individuals and a bank reference are just ways of them verifying your actual validity. So the first few orders might need to be prepaid. Again, same thing as Quill. You maybe need to come in and place your first order, get denied, and place your second or third order before they'll actually approve you. Monopolize Your Marketplace you can find at mymonline.com. That's mymonline.com. They sell everything you could possibly think of when it comes to marketing, but they also have a really awesome 10 audio CD set, and they report to Experian. And I think the CD set's like 5 payments of $59 is what you're paying. From what I hear, it's a pretty good marketing CD set. I've never purchased it, but I've heard good things from clients that have. It's a true starter vendor, meaning they don't need anything from you. If you have a legitimate business, they'll approve you. And upon checkout, you just choose the 4 equal payments of $59.99. And again, they have a lot of other kind of marketing stuff that can be considerably more money. So I like to use them as a vendor because, again, you know, you're going to want vendors that you can actually use to buy things. Well, really, all of them you can. I mean, for example, we have clients that use Quill to get yard signs, to get marketing flyers. We literally have clients that made their first sales because they got marketing resources from Quill that they use to grow their business. So don't look at a Quill or Uline and think, well, there's nothing here. Uline has all different kinds of shipping supplies. So they give you what you need to do direct mail campaigns to get your business off the ground. So both Uline and Quill have marketing resources available that you could use to build your initial business credit. And that's what I like about Monopolize Your Marketplace, is that all they have is marketing stuff. So they have a lot of resources, a lot of tools, a lot of products you can purchase that can help you with your marketing efforts to get your business off the ground. Now, you've got to have a bank account. You've got to have an EIN and a deliverable address. If they're going to deliver your CD set, they need an address to be able to do so. You got to have an EIN to build any credit with any of these accounts. And again, they're probably going to ask you for a bank reference, so you need to have a bank account set up for Monopolize Your Marketplace. And they do report every month, just like Uline does as well. So while you do want trade accounts to report at least one of the credit reporting agencies, a trade account that does not report can still be of value. Non-reporting accounts can be tapped for trade references. Okay, so for example, we just talked about how you need references. Well, you might say, well, I'm a brand new startup. I've never paid anybody as agreed, so I don't have any trade references. Well, in these kind of accounts, you know, credit issuers that will give you credit and that also don't report it still have value because they can become these trade references. Plus, credit accounts can also help you to better even out your business expenditures. So again, by taking your phone, your cell phone service, and putting it in your business name and getting vendor credit using that, maybe it doesn't report to D&B, Equifax, Experian. Maybe it won't give you a trade line. But the benefit here is they will give you trade references. PayPal could be one of these, T-Mobile, Sprint. AT&T are also, and Best Buy as well, where again, a lot of them don't report, but they will actually be able to give you good trade references when you get credit with them for the ones that do report. Now, knowing what's going on with your credit is essential because you need to see these trade lines reporting. So make sure that these accounts are reported. Address errors as soon as possible. Anything you see on your business credit reports you want to dispute, because again, errors in payment history can really adversely affect your credit scores. So get in the habit of checking your business credit reports, not just your scores. You can go directly to DMB to do that at dmb.com/credit builder. You can go to experienceSmartBusinessReports.com/landing/1217. You can also go to Equifax.com/business-credit-monitor-small-business to be able to get credit reports for any of these three. So it ranges. I mean, Equifax is about $20 a month. Experian is about $50 a month. And DMB is about $159 a month is their new charge. You can also go to creditsuite.com/monitoring. And I have business-credit-monitoring. But if you go to creditsuite.com/monitoring, you can get Experian and Dun & Bradstreet for $24 a month. It saves you about $210, or it saves you about $90 a month or $2,200 a year to go through this link. You have to monitor your business credit because you need 5 trades to move to revolving accounts. Well, you're not going to know you have 5 trades reporting unless you have access to your business credit reports. Experience 50. At DMB is 159. It's $210 a month for those. Well, about $210 a month. Well, with us, it's $24 a month. So because with our nav integration. So with that, you save $2,200 a year. But you also would need to go to Equifax and pay the $19.99 for theirs as well. I wouldn't get Equifax right from the beginning. Most of the sources, including some of the vendors we talked about there, all of them report to DMB Experian. Not a lot of them report to Equifax. So once you have 5 or more vendor accounts, we talked about a few of them. Another good one that I didn't mention that you could use is Wells Fargo. They offer a secured credit card. It does require a credit check, but that's a secured option you can go with as well. And there's another one called Granger that sells outdoor supplies. So that's another one that you could use for an initial credit account that doesn't have a credit check. So once you have 5 accounts or more, then you can start to remove the revolving accounts like Walmart, Dell, etc. Now again, I'm saying start to move there. All credit issuers like Walmart, Dell, Apple, Amazon, they all have individual credit or trade line requirements that you need to meet. And again, just because you have 5 doesn't mean you can get all store credit, but it means you can start to get store credit. And these companies are more than likely going to have the goods that you need. You need computers, you go to Dell or Apple. You need random stuff, you go to Walmart, Amazon. Home supplies, you go to Home Depot, Lowe's. A bunch of stuff at wholesale discounts, you go to Costco, Sam's Club. You go to, Staples or Office Depot for office supplies, etc. So you've got to use your EIN on these credit applications, leave your Social Security number off the applications. Now, once you start to get more credit, about 8 to 10 accounts, then you can move on to fleet credit. These are companies like BP, Conoco, Chevron, Sunoco. Almost every major gas retailer, gas station out there has them. And these are used to basically repair and maintain vehicles. Now, you say buy, but you're not going to use fleet credit to actually buy vehicles. That's a misprint. You can get auto vehicle financing, which I'll talk about in just a minute. This is usually for fuel, repairs, and maintenance of vehicles. Make sure, again, you use your EIN and not your social. If you have enough trade lines, then the time in business or revenue requirements won't matter. This is the way it is with all business credit. If you go to Office Depot and Staples, their application, which is through Citi, will tell you need to be in business for 1 year or have 1 year in business with $3 million in revenue or both. Well, if you have enough trade lines, you don't need either one of those. So you can pretty much ignore revenue and time and business requirements. Well, let me put it 2 ways. I've never actually said it this way before. It goes both ways. If you have time in business of 1, 2, 3 years and revenue of millions, well, then in a lot of cases, they'll approve you without necessarily having the necessary trade lines in some cases. But on the opposite end, if you don't have the time in business or revenue, then they'll still approve you if you have the trade lines. So the longer you are in business, then the more revenue you acquire, the easier it is to get approved with a lot of business credit sources. But even as a startup, you could do it. Then the number of trade lines you have becomes the most important driving factor. Have you responsibly handled the credit you've been given? Well, if so, then you move to Visa cards, MasterCards, American Express. These are called cash credit cards you can use anywhere. And again, these are ones you want to leave your social security number off the application. So our clients are now getting $20,000 to $100,000 credit cards and credit lines after they finished our business credit build out. They're getting about 14 trade lines to get there. We just had a client get a $20,000 Chase Inc. credit card, no PG, the other day. We just had another client get a $100,000 credit line with PNC Bank with absolutely no personal guarantee required, no personal credit check either, because they did it based on their established business credit. But again, the minute you give them the social, you need to know they will pull your personal credit. So any of this credit you got to use responsibly. Don't borrow more than what you can pay. Keep track of your balances, your deadlines for payments. I put this on my to-do list. Whenever I buy anything that's going on my business credit report, I put an item on my to-do list to pay the bill. Because for Staples and Office Depot, for example, they'll mail me my bill, but I only check my mailbox like once a week for the business. So I want to pay it the minute they'll let me pay it. Okay, if I've got vendors, the minute they ship it, I know that's my sign to get them paid. So however you want to track it, you want to make sure you track it. And of course, for vendors, you've got to pay on time and in full. You don't have to do that for revolving credit, but for vendor, you do, because that's the key to really coming in and getting good scores. So business credit scores help you get loans when they're good. Your lender knows you pay your debts. They know your business is legit. Your EIN connects to high scores, and lenders won't feel the need to demand a personal guarantee. Now, this is somewhat of a myth. People think that when you build your business credit, you're going to immediately start getting loans and credit lines. That's not the case, and here's why. Lenders and credit issuers are starting to look at deeper things on your business credit report other than just trades. So the way that credit issuers work, like Visa, MasterCard, Home Depot, and Lowe's, and Sunoco, and all those ones we talked about, their computers will primarily look at numbers of trades, number of trade lines to determine approval. But lenders that have loans and credit lines are looking at other factors that are also on your business credit report. So your business credit reports state how many employees you have per your Secretary of State records. They state your revenue. They state your profit if they have your financials. So lenders and credit issuers or lenders are looking at that stuff as well. And again, if you don't have a lot of money in revenue, if you don't have employees, it gets tougher to get the money without the personal guarantee unless you have a ton of trade lines. So something to keep in mind there. So legitimacy is everything, and most of it is easy and free to do. You just have to make sure you do it early. Remember, we talked about a couple main points here. Setting up your business credibly. 1. 2, getting vendor credit. These things make you look legitimate. Remember that when you're applying for credit, they don't know if you're just starting your business or if you've been open for years. They don't know if you're doing $100 in revenue a month or $1 million. So they're looking at all these signs of legitimacy to determine that. That's why you want to be set up credibly. That's why you want to get initial business credit, because it gives you those signs of legitimacy. Now, trade accounts will approve you quickly, but you need to make sure they report to at least one of the reporting agencies. Don't get fooled by going out and getting credit that doesn't report. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of benefit by getting credit locally that doesn't report. So one of our clients deals with, part of what she does is they need to get roofing supplies. They need to get roofing materials, right? So they just got an individual account for $75,000 with a local company that does not report their credit to any of the reporting agencies, although they wish it did because it's a $75,000 account. But they don't care if it reports. They just needed the benefit of a $75,000 credit line to buy the supplies that they need. So there's a lot of benefits by accounts that don't report, but when it comes to building business credit being your goal, you need to get accounts that do report. As always, you got to use that credit responsibly, pay those bills as agreed. And again, if you have any questions, if we can help you along the way, then reach out to us, let us know. 877-600-2487, info@creditsuite.com. You can also go to creditsuite.com/EIN to grab your free guide. Look, if you look at our YouTube channel, we have hundreds of videos that teach you how to build business credit, get loans, etc. And a lot of people say, what's the difference in using free training and working with you? Well, there's a lot of differences. First of all, it's cheaper to work with us than do it on your own, because things like 411 listing and business credit reports and free experience smart business access and not paying for your DUNS number, all these things that a lot of people end up paying for, you don't need to pay or get huge discounts working with us. So it's cheaper to work with us than not. You even get business valuations for free. You can find out at any time how much your business is worth at no cost. But bottom line, what we do is we just take years of business credit building and condense it to only months. We tell you exactly how many trade lines you need to get Dow, AutoZone, to get Ford auto vehicle financing, Best Buy, Sprint, Sears, Conoco, Sunoco, Exxon. We help you get the $100,000 credit lines. We help you get the $25,000 individual Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and we help you do it fairly quickly, in a lot of cases in less than 6 months. If you're doing it on your own, even following the steps, you're going to run into a lot of questions. You're going to run into things that will take you a lot of time. And the first time you run into that first barrier could cost you weeks or months. That's what we help you do. We help you avoid it. You're working with our advisors hand in hand. You're working with our technology. And in doing so, we get you the fastest and highest limits where you're not stumbling along for years, or even most people that give up trying. So again, feel free to use our free resources. creditsuite.com, the top right of our page, you can access all of our social media links, and there you can find all kinds of free training we give you. But if you're really serious about this, if you really want to get the fastest path forward, well, then email us, info@creditsuite.com, or give us a ring at 877-600-2487. We'll map out and show you all the stuff we give you for free, or the discount that you won't pay for, that makes it cheaper for you to work with us than do it on your own. And without a doubt, helping over 10,000 people build business credit in the last few years has given us a ton of knowledge and experience that will help you get quicker results. Vendors are another reason too. For example, we just added 4 more exclusive vendors to our back office. By exclusive, I mean these are not vendors you will find on your own. They're not vendors you'll find in forums. They're not vendors that we mention in videos, because they're exclusive to our clients. We help them get set up to report to the reporting agencies. And in doing so, we have an agreement with them where they're offering some level of exclusivity to our clients. They don't really promote, they even build business credit. So they're not ones that you'll find out there. So again, if you're looking for the fastest, easiest way, feel free to give us a ring, 877-600-2487, info@creditsuite.com. I will be back here, I think in 2 weeks here on YouTube. And the weeks in between, we do webinars. Feel free to get your free guide at creditsuite.com/EIN. You'll get invited to our live webinars where we do a Q&A after every one, unlike YouTube Live where I can't answer questions. And also visit creditsuite.com, the top right of our page, to visit us on Facebook and Periscope Live, where we answer questions in real time as well. Thank you all very much. I hope you have a great day. I will not talk to you before, for those of you that are watching this live. So I hope you have a great holiday season. And I will talk to you in 2 weeks as we dive more into getting business credit and loans for your business. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.